Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 30th of April. And we're here at Morning Coffee Review, MCR, here to have some fun talking about all things Bluebeam and beyond. I'm Jason Hartley, joined here with Mike LaChave. As always, how's it going today, my friend?
Going good. We're excited to talk about some of the newest features released finally from Bluebeam. I know we've been waiting for this or things to be released here for quite some time. We think I don't want to speak too much for Jason, but I was thinking, the majority of it was focused on that transition to more of the SaaS platform and their integration, and kind of their dev team was more developed into that the past year and a half, maybe almost 2 years. So excited for some new latest and greatest features of where the industry is going from a perspective of automation. Um, we can all see through the lines in terms of being in the industry of what AI is versus like automation. But I would classify these as more automation type of scenarios, but we won't get too deep in the woods of the comparison and contrasting. But we'll be talking about some of the newest features out of Bluebeam. Jason has some announcements as well of what's going to be released and what's happening. So as always, I'll toss it back to Jason, and then we'll get going on some of the cool new features.
Yeah, I figured today we're going to do some live testing, right? So we've got some of the features that we've brushed upon in a couple weeks ago, but we haven't really done some testing. So I created some data sets for that. We'll play around with some of the new AI-enabled features. But as Michael said, a couple announcements. We couldn't talk about them last week, but we can talk about them this week. You may have gotten an email. Bluebeam has announced that they are raising their prices. Big surprise, right? So as of June 1st, so if you are looking to buy new seats of Bluebeam, any level, or renew before June 1st, you will save money. If you renew June 1st or after, it's going to be 10% more, right? So that means basic is going from $240 to $260. So $20 a year, big deal. I mean, if you got 100,000 licenses, probably a different story. And then, complete the highest level goes from 400 to 440. So $40 more a year. It is what it is. 10%. You're affected either way, unless you grandfathered in and got that maintenance deal, right? We talked heavily over the years about taking advantage of that maintenance deal, that level up promo, because it's going to save you quite a bit of money. Now, if you did that, those prices are also going up by 10%, but it's going to be a minuscule difference.
Yeah, that was already part of your agreement of the net neutral transition that they had talked about. So like you already knew that yours was getting 10% compounding increase year over year, but now overall licenses get an increase of 10%, right?
Right. And it's not a huge deal. I mean, $40 a year for the highest version. I mean, it's no small change, but it does add up, right? And the reason that they're doing this is because they're putting a lot more effort into review. We'll just ignore Nemechek's stock announcement this morning that they're doing pretty good financially. But what they're doing is investing more into review, and we're going to show you.
Did they have an earnings call?
Today. I don't know if it was an earnings call, but I saw on LinkedIn Nemechek posted their year-over-year growth, and it was 20-some percent, 26%. Like it was healthy.
I didn't get on social media this morning. Well, I did for like my shrimp stuff, but I didn't get on LinkedIn. So that's where it was.
Yeah. I'll have to find it and send it to you, but they posted their healthy numbers, and I was like, wow, good for them, And then you have to say that, Doug. Yes. So they're going to use all these new monies that they're raising by raising the prices of review to invest in the product, make more changes, improve it for the users to make it a happy place. But yeah, no XCon.
We could also talk about the fact that they finally entered into Nemechek Group, which owns Bluebeam now. I don't remember when they bought them.
Years and years ago.
Was it years ago? Okay. They entered in, and I was extremely stoked about this, that interoperability agreement. So they had one before. I was talking to some people in the office. I think they had one before. I was talking with Isaac, our support director, and he said they had one a couple years ago. But now they have a new one because they didn't have one. And before, you used to be able to with Studio Prime, which integrates with like Newforma or
Procore.
Procore into sessions. They didn't. The word was the connection was archived from BIM 360. So before ACC, I was doing demos on BIM 360 and the integration with Studio Prime into Studio Sessions, right? That was a thing. Then the connector got archived. So I'm hoping to see that come back with the new interoperability agreement.
Mhm.
I mean, the platform's there. So I don't know. I mean, we all know when these agreements and buyouts happen, it takes a little bit of time. I'm hoping that's kind of expedited for at least that portion. Um, but I do know that Bluebeam is going more strategic with their open API for cloud. So that's probably going to be a little bit longer for that integration, but at least to the already existing connector, getting that into the ACC portion, right? Construction cloud. That way we can get access to at least the studio sessions quicker, hopefully. I don't
Mhm.
know. We'll see what happens. I mean, they entered an agreement, which is great. I think two big companies in that nature of what we utilize from an industry perspective is what we need. You know, I kind of chuckled at this because Autodesk had mentioned that like 2 years ago at AU, you know, we want to be working with other people in the industry from a software perspective. And finally, we see kind of that road work or groundwork being laid for working with people like Numachek Group, right? Because they have other solutions outside of the ecosystem of Bluebeam. Numachek Group does. So I'm excited to see that all working collaboratively together to, again, enhance what we do on a day-to-day basis. So
Right, and that's part of, the other news that we wanted to talk about today, and, last week, Autodesk and Nemetschek entered that agreement, and not just with Bluebeam, not just with ArchiCAD, but across their APIs. So Nemetschek makes ArchiCAD, which is a competitor to Revit. They make, Vectorworks, which is a competitor to other Autodesk software. I mean, these are two competitors deciding that, hey, we're gonna work together, share our API information so that our solutions are better, more compatible, right? Which is a big step. Autodesk is no stranger to partnering with other agencies. Like they're doing a lot with Esri right now in the GIS space. But this is a pretty big deal, especially because these are two companies that you would figure are pretty against each other. It's a weird time in the industry, just as you mentioned, David. Bentley, Autodesk's biggest competitor, is looking at getting bought out by Schneider Electric, and Schneider Electric is a strategic Autodesk partner. So, like, what's going to happen? Like, it's all over the place.
it
It's
is
kind of
all over
exciting
the place.
to be on the sidelines,
It
right, and
is.
see what's going to happen. But there's some interesting things that are going to come up. Um, from this API agreement. Will we start to see Bluebeam Cloud markups in ACC? Will we see ACC information in Bluebeam Cloud? We don't know. But those APIs are going to open up, and I think with all of the talented people at all of these companies, there's going to be some good stuff.
Mhm.
Hopefully that doesn't mean more price increases, but it's a business after all. Um, so yeah.
I was gonna
So
say when you were talking about price increases, I was thinking about it like, you know, we all to make it kind of close to home, we all, maybe not all of us, have Netflix, right? I remember when it was $10 a month and now it's like what, 13, $15 a month.
but I heard, and I stopped subscribing to Netflix a couple years ago. But I heard there's gonna be a new version that's cheaper, but it has ads. So I think,
I think there is a new version out there. I didn't,
yeah, it's like $5 or something, but you
yeah,
have to watch an ad every other episode or something.
because our world's run by ads. Love it.
Yeah, right? Uh, The world's a billboard. Um, but there's good stuff coming on. So, I do wanna mention something about Autodesk, right? So we talked about the agreement. I mentioned the June 1st price increase for Bluebeam. Um, since I know there's a lot of IT folks and other folks that work at various firms joining us today, um, Autodesk is making a big change to the way that you buy and renew software come June 10th. So hopefully, You've got emails from your Autodesk. You've got emails from your reseller. You've been targeted, I'm sure. If you haven't, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you have to do stuff before June 10th. You, as the manager of your licenses, need to set them up as a authorized vendor in your account, because things are changing with the way that they do business. They call it a new transaction model or something like that, where your payments will be processed directly by Autodesk instead of a reseller and the middleman between resellers like us and Autodesk. So make sure that you take care of that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, reach out to your reseller, reach out to us, reach out to Autodesk. Like, ask somebody to make sure that you get it set up right. I know when I go into manage.autodesk.com, it gives me a little pop up saying, "Hey, this is happening. Make sure you do this." So don't ignore those, because there will be repercussions if you do not have it set up. Let me repeat that. There will be repercussions if you don't have that set up. Meaning, come renewal time, if that's not set up, your software, it's not going to work,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, there's a little bit of a grace period, but it's very little and it's very strict. So make sure that you take care of that.
And then you have to renew, right, as like a separate new contract, which is
Yeah,
different pricing, right?
it's going to affect the pricing of Autodesks. It's going to affect the pricing of for resellers. A lot of resellers rely on just giving healthy discounts and saying, "Here, come to me, I'll give you 10%." No, 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 I'll give you 11%. Those days are over. Autodesk is like, "Nope, you're charging retail for everything. If there's a sale, we'll put it on. Otherwise, it is what it is." So make sure you take care of it. I will mention, us being a platinum partner reseller, we're just fine. We're not worried about this at all. So make sure that you have a good relationship with the reseller, because things are going to be weird, but for us, we're doing just fine. So on that note, let's stop talking about business stuff. Let's stop talking about stock earnings and EBITDA and year-over-year growth from Nemetschek and Autodesk and Bluebeam and all this stuff. But let's talk about the new toys that we have, the new toys that came out since we met last week. So we're gonna have some fun. But first, I want to jump in to AI. EBITDA is not fun, David.
I don't even
Um,
know what that is.
it's a scary, scary acronym.
Okay.
I want to
Do,
jump
do
in,
I
and
Google it?
you don't want to go down that rabbit hole, my friend.
Yeah.
And I say that just as a rabbit pops up my window. Squirrel. There we go. All right. So speaking of AutoCAD, I printed out a drawing yesterday from AutoCAD. It's a sample model. And the purpose of this was, I wanted to make some changes, and I wanted to have 3 different versions of a PDF that we can use this new AI feature to test it on. Now, all I did was, this is the sample drawing. I printed it out. This one, I moved the view a little bit, and I think I added a couple different screws and stuff in here. So the views are different, right? And then the third one, I used a different page size. So the purpose of this is to test Bluebeam's auto align function. I have not tested this. I have no idea what the results are going to be. I know we've talked about it, but we haven't tested it. So here we go. I'm going to save all these, right? We see the asterisk. We know it's not saved. I'm going to save them I don't make any changes, but just because. So I've got 3 models saved, obviously named 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to go ahead and use document, go to document, compare documents. And this is where we have to use 2 different files. Now, I could have left them open and it would have gone there, but instead I'm going to browse to my desktop and go to model 2.
Wait, how many PDFs do you have on your desktop?
I just did my expenses yesterday. I've got a lot. I'm going
Okay.
to clean up. Don't worry.
Hey,
So,
hey, everyone remember this because he always
right.
gets on me about it. So
That's right. So, so I'm going to compare these documents, right? So it's going to tell me the differences, but it requires some sort of alignment, right? So the options we have are page align, manual align, and select window. These are the old ones. Here's the new one, auto align. So I'm going to say, hey, auto align these, and we'll see what's going to happen, right? So if I hit OK here, it found some stuff.
mm,
I don't like, Maybe you want to do overlay instead of
Yeah, can
compare
we do
because
overlay?
it doesn't like this at all. All right. Hey, we tried it. It did it. Okay. Overlay pages instead. So this is another new feature, this new banner, right? It's going to walk you through certain things.
Yeah, mine
Um,
came up the other day for signature, I think, or something like that.
oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh
It's actually
boy.
very helpful. I was like, did I not know this
Mhm.
thing happened? And I guess it is new, so glad you.
Oh, good deal. So same thing again. Sample one, sample two, one's red, one's green. You can change your colors here if you want that to be blue. Either way is going to be hard on my eyes. Let's go with a darker green. That's a little better. Um, and then here, again, are the three versions. Page
So let's
align, manual align, where you click 3 points, and then auto align. And it's going to give me that preview automatically. Now, this is what I wanted to see.
so was this the one that was just a little bit different, not like viewports moved?
Correct.
Okay.
This one is the drawing view moved, and a couple new things showed up on in the drawing itself, right? So we're looking at this. This is the preview, right? It ignored the title block. So when we talked about this a couple weeks ago, we thought it was going to align the title block. It's not. It's just aligning the actual drawing objects, which is exciting to see. So I'm going to hit OK here, and we're going to take a look at this result. Now, it did see the different screws that I added in there, right? So there are a couple new things in the drawing area. If you look real close, that alignment's not perfect. Ooh, that's hard on my eyes. It looks fine from here, right? But it should have aligned those a little tighter. We got a little Rasta party going on here. Um, Interesting. So that didn't do what I thought it was going to do. I thought my hypothesis, I shouldn't choose words I can't say, would have been that it's going to use the title block to align things. It, the scale didn't change, so I don't know why there's a shift here. But I
So I
mean,
think
is it close enough? What do you guys think? No?
I also think like this is a good example. I'm gonna print out one with details on it. Like what happens if the
Hmm.
details move? So like I didn't really need to, but because you can look at the schedule and you see here. So what is it going to pick as its
Hmm.
predominant like selection? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm gonna print out a couple of details here from the out of the box set, and we'll do it too.
Okay.
You transition back to me.
Yeah, I'm going to turn this one off. I'm going to do, while you print that off, I'm going to do one more alignment. So let's compare. I'll close that one. Let's compare or overlay. Nope, wrong button. We're going to compare my 2 to my 3. Now, the 3 that I have is at a different scale entirely. Ooh, look at that. It doesn't like that at all. Wait, that's on page align. Let's go to auto align, right? Hey, that's not bad. Let's take a look. All right, so we'll hit OK, let it process. I can tell it's a little brown on my screen. Again, it didn't get it perfect. There is some shifting there. This looks 3 dimensions. I should probably put some glasses on. But I overlaid two of the same drawings. The only difference was one was printed fit to page, and then one other one was actually printed to scale, but they were on different page sizes. So it did do its thing. Did it find the differences? No, because that drawing didn't have differences. Right. So let's try this one more time. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll stop sharing. But
Almost ready. Yeah,
okay.
I'm just
So
gonna
I'm
move
going to
some stuff
overlay
around.
1 and 3 now. Speaking of having bad eyes, I got to use grab this one and that one. Nope, not you. So 1 and 3, right? So the difference between 1 and 3 is, uh, so here just page align. We've got different scales. We've got different viewport alignments. We've got different things going on and different page sizes. So page align, it clearly does not like. If I hit auto align, let's see where we go. All right. So again, the viewport objects moved. So it aligned around that, not the title block. And it did go find my differences. There is still a shift. It actually looks a little worse comparatively. Does it work for overlay? Does it all, let me see what's different? Sure. Does it do its intended job? I would say yes. Is it perfect? No.
Is it as good as it was before?
Is it? Well, okay. Let's do that. This is AI trying to figure out what to align to, right? So let's see it. Was it better than before? That's a fair question. If I go to overlay, I'm gonna do this one last exercise. I'll take those same drawings, 1 and 3.
So is it going to learn?
Ooh, I don't know. I will do a manual alignment this time. What will I align off of? Let's go. Okay, I got an idea. So page 1, I'm gonna align to. Ooh, see,
Don't
it's
do
gonna be
it.
it's gonna be
It's This is why this white never worked.
turn off line weights. We'll grab 1, and we'll grab 2, and then we'll try to go over here. There's a corner right here. Okay.
Do you
See if I
remember where those were?
where I got 1. See, this is what I don't like. Where was it? Was it this one or this
It
one? It
was
was this
9.
one.
It was Keynote 9, yeah.
And then down here, I did this corner. Okay. So that was manual alignment. It didn't take me a ton of time, right? That was what, 30 seconds, and that was half of that was me figuring out which ones did I click on. Let's turn our line weights back on. Eh, I think the
It's
alignment's better doing it manually, but the time savings. Did I save 30 seconds? Yes. Did I get a better end result? No. So the AI, I think it works for a quick view. I wouldn't, be measuring off of this, you know, but overall not bad. Okay. Are you ready to try yours?
Yeah, I'm just I'm confused with the naming of the tool, but it's fine.
Yeah.
So I printed out 2 sets. Basically, I just opened up Revit, used the out of the box. My thought process wanted to know, and I don't think, I mean, at some point it would be great if it just like move pieces of things on your PDF to different areas. But anyways, what happens, like the details were different when you open the out of the box. This one was here, this one was here. What happens when things move around? Because that's what happens majority of the time. Like coming from the structural world, we move details around sometimes. And okay, so what are you going to do when you move a detail page around when it is auto line function, right? That was my concern initially when this tool came out. So that's what I went through and did. So we're going to go through and overlay pages. We are going to add the pages from my desktop here. And I still have that opening up because it was the initial one. So I have the Snowdon Towers. Okay, so I'm going to open this one. And then I have my same one, but I put Rev next to it so I didn't forget. And then I have Rev 1.
So
So,
your page alignment alone is looking a little funky. Okay.
yep, so that's page align. Viewport, title block didn't move, but my details moved, remember?
Mm-hmm. Now,
So,
before you do anything, look, one thing that I've noticed that I don't know if I noticed before is in the lower right-hand corner, there's that sort of dots in the corner where you can make your preview window bigger. So if you don't want to commit to hitting OK here, you can enlarge the size of your preview, it looks like.
this you mean?
Yeah. And allow you to make the decision which version works for you. Okay.
Yeah, because they didn't have a preview last time, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah, so I like that feature more than anything. Auto line.
Didn't change a whole lot. Wait,
Okay.
actually, looking at the title block, did that get worse? Go back to page align. No? Okay, maybe not.
No. Yeah. So realign.
Interesting. So if you hit realign, does that button stay there? So what if you keep it hitting it again? Will it go through different iterations? Because it should, if it's true AI, it should be learning, right?
That's why I was asking earlier, is it learning?
Huh.
I don't know if there's a data center built somewhere for it to
Right?
retain information.
Well, the cops will start, your toaster will start beeping here in a minute if you make it too
Yeah.
loud.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
there we go.
Go ahead. Well, hit OK and see how the title block lands at least. Hey, that's
I guess it has a
okay.
print time. Look at that's cool.
I mean, you're getting better alignment there using that title block and that data set than what I got. Um, but obviously, with your details moving and shifting, it just doesn't know what to do. For the details that didn't move, if you zoom in, how do those look? Those look pretty good. So
Mm-hmm.
you're not getting the 3D noise that I got on mine.
Mm-hmm.
I I wonder if I used the DWG to PDF driver from AutoCAD. Did you use the Bluebeam
Yeah,
driver
I use the Bluebeam driver
from Revit?
from Revit. So I just file printed from this driver. There is the application itself. I use the application. I'm doing like 3D PDFs in that nature. And if you want to like preset up bookmarks or preset up rooms to spaces and that types of things when I use the
Hmm.
plugin. But
Right. So you're absolutely right in the chat. That's the point, to show the difference between the two files. Correct. And it's doing that very, very well, right? It's clearly showing you which one is which. What we're mainly testing is the auto alignment of those. So in my example, I had different page sizes. Um, so it didn't really know where to align to. In Michael's example, he used the same title block, which allowed for the title block to align perfectly. So that there is a difference uh, in the visual quality, but it's still achieving the goal of showing the differences. In my example, I don't know if it showed the differences well enough to say that I could measure off of it, right? If something shifted, could I tell that it shifted, or could I tell that it shifted by 3 feet?
yeah,
I think
because
that's
I'm
one of
not
the
gonna.
values.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's just one of the values of being able to measure and see how far it shifted, right? But again, not everybody uses review the same way. As we've learned over the years, and as we learn week to week, people are doing all sorts of unique things with Bluebeam Review, and that's why we've been able to talk about it for over 3 years now. But um, will this tool work for a lot of people? Sure. Will it work for everybody? I'm going to say no. What do you
Yeah,
think?
because my thought is yeah, these are going to move and change,
Hmm.
right? So the detail may have changed, and I wanted to compare the details, even though they moved on the PDF themselves. The detail itself may have changed, right?
Hmm.
So how am I going to compare? Okay, so they moved the detail around from one spot to the next, right? We can see the green one here and the new red one here. I wanted those to compare. Yeah, they moved around on the sheet. I don't disregard that, but what if there was a change on that detail itself, right? Like I want to know the difference between the detail. I don't need to know where it moved on the sheet. I want to know if the detail itself changed, right?
Hmm.
And that's where you would probably come through and still use some the old method of like the copy paste
Hmm.
probably is still going to be the best way to use these if you want to do that, right? So if I split the screen and we
What's with
look
the
over
question
here,
marks?
you can come over here. I don't know. I don't know what they did in Revit. They're part of Revit.
Oh, okay.
Um,
What
help
the hell?
button.
Oh,
So coming back into here, you would do the same process, right? Probably still, which would be file. I mean, sorry, edit. I come here and grab the snapshot versus G for the hotkey because I don't want to use hotkeys to confuse people. I would probably still do this same thing over here, right? And then from here, I can do that same changing of colors. Then you can see the difference. That way, you're aware of the differences between the both in this way versus the other way, right? And then you
yeah.
would want to come through here and multiply that, and then you just get it close. There we are. There's no change. I didn't change it, but this is what you would want to do to see those differences. And then you can apply this to a layer and just say, right click, layer, create new, Rev 1. You don't have, exclamation point, confusing. And then you do the same thing. Okay, so we know that changed. This moved to down here. So what was that before? G, just quickly grab this one. And then you can come over here and then just same thing over here, Control V. And you wouldn't do the Shift V in the same spot because it's not in the same spot, right? And then you would do the colorize and then multiply and then right click, layer, Rev 1. And then same thing here, just get this close. And you can see if there's a difference between them, which this moved, so.
There you go. Interesting. So yeah, there's still a few different ways that you can align these views. Are they terrible? No. I mean, is the time not terrible? Are they a giant time commitment? Not really. Like Michael just did the long way, and that was not very long at all. So the auto align is a step closer to adding some efficiency. Now, if all you did all day was align drawings,
and they're 100 pages, yeah.
Yeah, that auto line is going to save you a ton of time. But if you're just doing one detail at a time, like I don't know how valuable that would be. The next thing we're about to show you, a new feature that was released for Bluebeam, is not exactly AI, but this is one of the biggest changes that Bluebeam has made in a while.
Yeah, I would agree.
So before we show that, let me get caught up on the chat. When you use the tool, are you showing the differences on each layer? Yeah, so when Michael just made that snapshot of that detail, he put one of them on that layer Rev. That way he can toggle it on and off to show the differences there.
Yeah, all just because if you don't want it on or you want to go back to your original state of your PDF.
So the next thing.
I jumped out of my chair, by the way, when I did this. So, dude, I was in the... Okay, so not just dude to you, but everyone listening in. I was in a demo the other day because we do demos here of Bluebeam to show folks like what the capabilities are. And I saw sessions in the cloud and I like freaked out. I jumped out of my chair. Well, I didn't really, but like inside I did.
Because I just got a text saying, yo.
Yeah, so. I texted Jason immediately and he's just like, what? So that was awesome.
Let's dive right in. Sessions are now on the cloud, boys and girls. This means, and this will only appear if you use Bluebeam Cloud and your Bluebeam ID is associated with a session, right? Yes. If you don't do studio sessions and you open Bluebeam Cloud, you're not going to see the session button. So do you want to pull it up? Or do you want me to pull it up?
I have it up. I'm ready.
There we go. So when you open up Bluebeam Studio Cloud, when you open up Bluebeam Cloud on your web browser, app.bluebeam.com, log in with your Bluebeam ID, you should now see Studio Sessions on the left, given that you are a part of Studio Sessions. All right, so go ahead and click in on there and take it away.
Yep. So I currently have, and I was demoing this on my iPad. I typically have my iPad. We're at 6% on the battery, so we're going to go quickly before it turns off. But basically, I'm in a demo. So demo session is the one I typically use, and you'll see all of the sessions that you are a part of as your user ID. So from here, what I can do is I can click into demo session, and I'll also see Joe Demo. Joe Demo's my iPad. And he's awake right now, so we'll also see him in here too. So iPad here, Joe's right here. So this is Joe, this is me on the computer. And the reason why I'm showing this is that we'll quickly go through. This is a capability. It's not on your phone yet, which I would assume, and it's again assumption, and we all don't like to assume, but I do sometimes. So the capability that I'm going to be able to go through and also see live markups from this perspective on your phone would be the hope, right?
And like I just joined too, and you saw my logo pop up.
C2Js, yeah. But now I can go through. I'm going to mark up on my iPad. And this is the desktop application on my iPad, the free viewer, not $10 application. And I can come in here and I'm going to watch him mark up. He's going to be marking up between 3 and 4 over here. Okay. So he's going to be over here. So you can watch. I'm not marking up on my computer. I'm marking up on my iPhone. So there we are. And then we could take a picture. Use this photo. Does photos not come into here? Oh, that's sad. So photos don't come into here yet. But okay. So there's no photo.
Was that because you're using the free version?
No, because I can still see it on the desktop. Can I still log into here? No, because it kicked me out of here, so it won't let me log into here.
So on that note, if you are logged in on Revu and you log in on Bluebeam Cloud, it will kick you out of either one, right?
Yep.
Just because you technically with your Bluebeam ID, and if you have a subscription to Revu 21 and Cloud, you can log into 5 devices at the same time, but you cannot log in to the same session with the same ID, right? That's a no-no. It knows and it will kick you out, which is good. We want that performance.
Yeah.
Right? Just don't be shocked if you get kicked out.
And it does lock. So that was made by Joe. So I can't mark this up at all. There is no, I can look at the different PDFs of the session here from the top bar. I can see the markup data from here. So if I click this cloud, it brings me to that cloud. I can leave a comment. I can change. Oh, it has all your statuses. And it changed the color. Let's go. Okay, so that's cool. But it doesn't have, that's because the profile uploaded the PDF had the statuses, right? But I don't have pictures, unfortunately, from my iPad. So I would assume that if I go into here, not assume, because I did this the other day, I would see it from the desktop application, the photo. I'd saw the markups list, but I don't have a photo live for my iPad. And that would be the hope when this becomes an application on your phone, because the app does let you mark up, but there isn't sessions yet. When I last logged in last week, I'll look back in a second because I don't want it to kick me out of here to see if it's enabled from there. So now you have sessions access anywhere. That is the key part to this one, because you can just go to anywhere you have internet access, because you can go to a web browser and be a part of your session and live collaborate from a marking up standpoint wherever you're at without the desktop application.
Correct. So for a lot of folks who collaborate with people who do not have Bluebeam subscriptions, the old way was like, we'll just download the trial. And once that trial expires, you have that view mode, and then you can still be a part of the session, right? You're still requiring somebody to download a 1.5 gigabyte file and install it, which they might not want to do, especially if they're not a Bluebeam user. They might not know how to use it effectively. My understanding is that this new Bluebeam Cloud, they're going to be able to invite anybody, subscription or not, and they're going to be able to participate in a session from a freaking website, right? So I like to call both Bluebeam Cloud and Autodesk Construction Cloud, it's a freaking website. Like, if you would have told me that 10 years ago, or heck, 5 years ago, that you're going to be able to do session stuff from a website, it's insane, right? Because you can do this on your phone. You can do it on any browser. You can go to the library, coffee shop, job trailer, log into a website and be able to coordinate. This is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the app, the phone iOS app still doesn't give me this functionality, but we know it's coming.
Yeah.
And you can still use the web browser, but this is totally targeted at folks with iPads. I mean, while there was an update for the iPad to fix the studio connection a couple weeks back, I think this is the end. Not the end. It's getting close though.
Yeah, it's a new generation that we're entering into the capability. And I remember when everyone was freaking out about Studio being down, and there wasn't like a reason or a cause from Bluebeam, but tinfoil hat here. I mean, come
Mm,
on, this is
yeah.
the reason why.
But think about what this is going to mean for field collaborators, right? You won't be tied to a Surface Pro with an Intel chip. You won't be tied to a $440 subscription come a month from now. You can use
And
whatever crappy Chromebook. You could use any old tablet, go to the website, and be able to collaborate without a license. This is huge.
and let's talk about free applications. So I'm going to log into my personal account, personal email. That's Joe Demo, and see what he can get access to from a free perspective on the web. Don't ever save that password, please.
I'm
Okay,
surprised you remember all your passwords.
dude, you gotta remember everything. Uh, well, that's when someone would say, "Don't use the same password," which I'm not recording this in terms of what I use for passwords, so I'm not
Right.
gonna say anything. But yeah,
So you
going
have to
back,
be invited to a session for it
yes,
to show up.
because you can see this is the free. This is my free personal account that I used as like a contractor inviting a sub. So I'm a sub who doesn't have any paid thing. I went to Bluebeam. Well, actually, I created it from the ID, but you can go to app.bluebeam.com and hit create an ID, and that ID was invited. So that ID was my email address, which is my personal email address that I use for demo and demonstration. So I'm a contractor sub. So the GC is using me to collaborate. I still have access to the projects, right? And I can come into here and I like to show this just to like, well, what can I do with the free application, right? This was not this was created by my paid for application. So can I come in and look at punches? Yep, you can come in here and look at punches if you wanted to. You can come and go and look at RFIs, right? And then in there you can go through and look at these, right? And have a discussion with them or punch lists. Now, if I go to drawings, can I go into the application and make a punch, right? Those are always questions, and you can't see. I don't even have the markup capability here, but I can address things from the free application and I can view them on my phone. Let's go to sessions. Now, if I go to sessions in the cloud, there's a demo session. I haven't tried this yet from this perspective, only the app. And I have markups, but I don't have vector pen because it's not a paid for application. I can't add an image. Well, let's go back to the site plan that we were on earlier. Um, this one, I think it's the other one.
I do like that drop down. I think it's almost easier than using Review to find your page.
Yeah. And there we are. So now I can come into here, mark up. I can see Jason and Joe. So that's Joe is me on the free app. So yeah, free application access to a session via a web. And all
It's
you have
just
to do is, sorry.
it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Um, so if I go,
And anything that I've made as Joe, I can address. So these ones I made as Joe, and I can still do status changes. Dunzo, change color. Let's go.
and I just added that watermark markup over there too, and it shows up real time, real time.
Where's that at?
Right to the left, big old watermark inside the box.
Oh, yep.
So if
Wow.
I move that down and go back, like it's that quick.
Yep.
It might even be faster than the old way. So this is exciting news. I get, Michael, why you jumped out of your chair and you texted me, yo, in all caps. Because we knew this was coming. Didn't think it was going to come out this fast.
Yep.
Did not think that it was going to be this feature rich. You know, I expected more limitations. And while there are some limitations, I mean, being able to do what most people need to do, they can. And all it costs them is creating a Bluebeam ID. You know, pretty slick.
And we asking for this. We've been asking for this as a community integration into the desktop application from cloud for a long time, since the inception of cloud. Like, I just want to bring things in.
Right.
Here we are.
Now, what I am curious about, tinfoil hat time. Um, Joe Demo doesn't have a paid subscription to Sessions, but now you've logged in and or doesn't have a paid Bluebeam subscription. Will Joe Demo, using my tinfoil hat and my marketing exposure,
Will I get
uh,
emails? I
will
don't know.
start
I'll
getting,
let you
hey,
know.
if you thought that was cool, what if you had a full version? Like, I wonder if it shows up in their leads.
Um, yeah, I haven't gotten any. Checking my emails right now. Nope, nothing so far. So
But pretty cool. I'm excited to see how this works for people. So that said, we've showed you how a user with an unpaid subscription can now collaborate through a freaking website using the Bluebeam Cloud app, so app.bluebeam.com. In here, Michael, can you go back to review and show how to invite somebody
yep.
to a session?
So back in the desktop application, I can sign in now because I'm not in this account on the web-based app, because it kicks you out if you're in sessions on the web-based app in here. It
Correct.
won't let you be in both. So here's the demo session that we just talked about, and you can see everyone that's in here, and it's bringing me right to where people are going. And there's that image. So yeah, you can still see it from the desktop application. So yeah, there's the image that we had initially. And now what I can go through and do is I can invite people. So you can invite people right here from the plus button of the human icon, or initially when you're creating the session, and you can type email addresses here. So you're just going to want to know what the email address is of the person, because there's not the add feature here.
Correct.
There's no, yeah, to get the ID. So you need to make sure, if you're the owner of it, you are inviting those email addresses, because they can't get the 9-digit code to add it from the web-based app. You just have to see like what their email addresses are.
Yep. So it's just as easy as saying, hey, I'm going to send you an invite. Now, I'm curious if you send that invite to somebody who doesn't have Bluebeam Review, if it goes through Bluebeam first and like, hey, this person doesn't have a license, or when you log in, if it invites you to create your own Bluebeam ID if you don't have one yet, because that'd be
Hmm.
easier than trying to walk somebody through like, hey, go create your ID, make sure it's your email, blah 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 blah.
I don't know. Yeah.
So if anybody listening is doing that sort of collaboration, let us know next week, or put it in our LinkedIn group, and let us know your experience with this. But I know this is something that we internally will be shouting from the rooftops, because we have a lot of clients that are going to be freaking out about this, because it comes up quite a lot, right?
Session URL now. Let's see. What does that do?
Ooh, that is unique.
Oh, it just
Uh,
tells me to open it in review.
um, yeah, interesting. Oh, unable to determine if it's compatible. Oh, okay.
That was just like all I
Yeah,
did was this. I didn't know that this was a thing. So
right. Yeah, it's going to studio.bluebeam.com. Now, if there was an app.bluebeam.com that allowed you to go to the cloud,
session, yeah.
yeah, good stuff.
That's awesome. Like, to me, and I know everyone in industry felt
Mhm.
a very painstaking scenario of sessions being down for like 2 weeks. Which would have been awesome if Bluebeam had just said, hey, we're putting this into the cloud. Tinfoil hat, they didn't say that that was the reason why. They were doing some backend stuff, but tinfoil hat, I suspect this is what they were doing, which was the integration into cloud. So maybe, you know, a cause of 2 weeks being down and then another day being down for like a little bit. Um, in my opinion, well worth it.
Agreed. I know it probably caused a lot of hiccups and headaches for those who are actively using Studio for their projects. And I mean, it probably wreaks some havoc, to be honest with you. But does this outweigh that havoc? Depends. For us, we're not on job sites all day. Absolutely, it's totally worth it. It was worth all the
We have
pings
a
and the
biased
emails like, "Hey,
opinion.
what's up with Bluebeam?"
Yeah.
But yeah, this is good stuff, and I think it's going to change the way a lot of people collaborate. And with collaboration being the name of the game these days, more and more firms are getting spread out. More and more people are still working remote or getting even more remote. Um, and more firms are getting larger and working across time zones and everything else. This is just going to be a massive thing.
Hmm.
Um, and it's free.
Yeah, I wonder, can you download this from here if you have a free one?
Oh, to download the PDF?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be cool? Save as web page.
Mm.
Can you pull that down though? Go back. Save as web page complete. HTML only. Okay. So no PDF. Hmm. That's okay though, right? You don't want them to have a if you're truly collaborating, you don't want them to have a downloaded version of the snapshot in time.
Yeah,
I'm
you want
okay
them
with
to
that.
collaborate.
Correct.
Yeah. Because you can from the desktop application. So from here, I can right click or just save as, sorry. Let's save
Right. And
as
save
to
that
desktop.
PDF. Yeah.
This
But
is just like, hey, you're here, collaborate with me,
okay.
and we're done.
Okay. On that note, I'm going to jump in there with my paid version in the same. So it's going to kick me out of review. Yep. So in my review, you have been disconnected from your session because this account is now logged into another session on a different computer. Okay. So I'm closing review. I'm opening up the website, and I want to see if I have different controls than you have, than Joe Demo has, because Joe Demo is a bum and
It's a
doesn't pay for
free.
anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can set up different permissions through here. While he's doing that, you have permissions, save as, disallow, print, markup. You have different permissions for different folks. What can you do?
There we go. So I do have the image capability, and I do have a vector pen. Thumbnail, I can screenshot, save as, still gives me HTML.
Yep.
Um, okay, interesting.
So
So
no
yeah,
way to get it out of
correct.
here. Cool.
That's the way that it's looking.
Good. I mean, I assume that would be good, right? You want people to collaborate, not take your PDFs and run with them, right?
Correct. Vector pen. Cool.
So my hope is at some point the phone application, and I will check again because I will close out of here. Um, oh, I'd automatically log me in. There is just projects. It automatically brings me to projects. There is no sessions on the phone yet. So I can get into cloud projects, look at my PDFs, but that's it. There are no sessions. It just says all projects. So not yet. In the future.
Not yet. They have to do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
You would hope.
yeah, they have to do it. But again, I think logging in on a web browser where you have a bigger screen is going to be a more effective way to see what you need to see instead of looking at a phone screen. But you got to do what you got to do. Boom,
Yep.
pull it
You may
up.
be on your phone and you need to collaborate while you're catching a flight and you don't want to bring out your laptop. Like, I just want to be on my phone, quickly mark up, coordinate, and then fly out, you know?
Mhm.
I think just coming back full circle, that this just gets you access to a single source of truth document anywhere. you don't need an application because you have a web browser.
Yep. Now, what would be cool is if you could still notify somebody.
Yeah.
So from the web browser, is there a notify function? Because if you could do that, and like your scenario that you painted, you're getting on an airplane, you get an email saying, "Hey, RFI, high importance. What do? You can click on it, um, or you get notified of something in a session. Will that notification allow you to open it up in this, or will it force you to open up the desktop?
Yeah, there's just statuses, see details. That's it.
Hmm.
No
Interesting.
notify yet. But you still have your tool chest, so you can grab some stuff from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just too cool. So again, when you start Review 21 or you install Review 21, it'll ask you if you want to sync your tool chest to Bluebeam Cloud. There's still no live sync. I kind of wish there was. When you open up Review, being able to just update it, because that would make life a lot easier. But that functionality is not there yet. They know, they're aware.
Oh wow. Oh, that's because there was a line in there. Okay. Um, but yeah, so just so you're aware when you're in here, because it always confuses me, you can use the plus or just hold control, because otherwise it's single page mode and well, no, scrolling pages mode or single page mode. Holding down control allows you to zoom in a lot easier. So don't hit these plus buttons like I was sitting here doing because I forgot about the control. But yeah.
Oh, with your scrolling wheel on your mouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
So control scrolling wheel on your mouse, you can zoom in more effectively. Gets a little hairy in some areas, so you may need to you know. Oh, and yeah, so just use your scrolling. So I'm pressing in the scrolling wheel to pan, control, pan.
I suppose we're out of time for today, but on the iPad you just do pinch
Yeah,
pinch
it's
and
just
pan, yeah.
zooming. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Well, exciting news.
Yeah.
This was a huge update, in my opinion, and excited to see more come through to this. I can't wait for measurements because that's what Peter talked to us about when he was on, that's something they're working on. So measurements will be a great thing in here once they add that value, but access to PDFs in a session via web browser, wherever you're at. Big
Yep.
keynote there.
It's coming. So
Yeah.
hopefully we showed some of the exciting new things that Bluebeam has rolled out this month. There's still a couple more that they've announced that haven't rolled out yet, and we'll be talking about those as soon as we see them appear. But otherwise, thanks for joining us today. We will see you again next Tuesday. And we've got a bunch of fun stuff to talk about next week too.
Yep, exactly. Thank you all, and look forward to seeing you next time.
All right, take care.
Take care.
Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of the other content on our channel.